Hi there, my name is Tracy, with an E because I'm a man with big muscles and everything. On my social media page, head page, on my About Us section, I'm known as Paul the Enforcer's head man. I look after his household, his fleet of luxury cars, and make sure he gets the bestest, finest food whenever he wants it. I have to think on my feet too, which means I am the most awesomest person I have ever met.
My name is Tracy. My head page About Us details at least spells Tracy correctly without an E. Beyond that, it's a bit blank because I don't have much time to update it all that often. I spend so much time helping in my local food bank and homeless shelter. My head page profile is a little light on information. Oh, and when I'm not busy doing those things, I keep a track on the other Tracy via his head page, Tracy with an E. All my friends are friends with him too. He always tells us what he's up to and throws these big parties with free food. We all go with large doggy bags and get whatever food we can for the food bank and the homeless shelter. Tracy, with an E, is really not a very nice person, to be honest. But he is still a person, so he must have some good in him somewhere. And he is at least nicer than his boss, who loves taking people like me and stealing my money, even though it isn't his to take. He says it's for a higher power. I'm not sure he has the right idea on that one.
My other hobby is keeping a track on Tracy. Now, she hasn't got an E because she hasn't got a name spelt correctly. And she works for some really dodgy people and dodgy places. She wastes her free time helping people who can't afford to feed themselves. Ridiculous. They should work harder, like me. Then they'd have more money and then they could get better clothes and go on fancy holidays like me. It's brilliant for me because I'm so much cleverer than my boss. Without me, he wouldn't have any money, and I keep everything working and running. I am that awesome. That's why I've got 4,894 friends on Headpage. While I'm not sure who they all are, it shows I must be really awesome because, well, they wouldn't be my friends otherwise. Mind you, I do throw parties every month where all the food is free. That can't be the reason why they like me, can it? No, of course not. Well, I'm just so awesome they like to be my friends. Who wouldn't want to be like me? Oh yeah, and my boss pays for the food and the parties and the holidays and the clothes. He just doesn't know about it.
So one day my boss asked me to get ready for a special guest. He said I should make up the spare guest room and order in some more food. I'm never sure how he always knows when people are coming before our guests arrive. Must be a mind reader or something. He says God tells him.
So I've changed my head page cover image to a plane because, well, my boss is off on another trip, hunting down more of those silly people who help others more than themselves. And my latest head page post tells all my friends and followers I'm excited about my latest travel plans. Gotta keep them posted. So packing my boss's Bentley, we head off. And it isn't long before we're filling up with more petrol. With these fast cars, they do get through quite a bit. But as we're pulling out of the service station, these bright lights appear from nowhere. And we have to pull to a stop. Not even my poshest shades could block out that much light. To start with, I thought it was maybe the headlights from another car, and then I noticed they were coming from the sky. I thought maybe it was a police helicopter, but there weren't any police helicopters either. Then I hear this voice booming out and speaking to my boss. Didn't quite hear what they said, but my boss jumps out of the car. He kneels down on the road. Now, at this point, I'm getting a little bit worried about him because I'm worried he might be getting his religion on. By the time I've actually got to him, he can't see a thing. So I help myself to his wallet. There'll be a few quid in there. About time I got some more trainers.
So I'm sitting in the garden with a cup of Earl Grey tea with my feet up and another day volunteering at the food bank and waiting for our guests to arrive when the sky lights up, bright lights and booming voices. Since the local football club weren't playing, I looked towards my boss. He smiled and said our guest would arrive soon, although he wouldn't he wouldn't see very well. Interesting. In my job, you never know what is going to happen next.
Well, boss man tells me to drive to the local town because he can't see. We find a house, he tells me to pull up, and I'm thinking, how does he know we're here? Anyway, well, there's this person at the door, and I think I recognise her from one of my head page friends. Anyway, she tells me the boss is expected and welcomes him in. I thought I'd take the chance, to be honest, to enjoy the town on my boss's money with the wallet that I liberated. Well, it turns out he was wanted for crimes against pumpkins in this town, so I got arrested. By the time I'd got out of the police station, I'd lost my money. They'd said it was stolen. And I find myself alone and hungry. I've got no money. The banks are closed. And did I mention that I was hungry? I managed to get a post on my picture on Headpage and tell my friends all about me being hungry, but I didn't get any replies. The police did let me keep my phone, but I ran out of credit and then I ran out of battery. It's getting dark around me, but there's a light at the end of the road, and the sign above it reads, "All are welcome." So, I knocked the door.
When the door knocked on the homeless shelter, I opened it, as I usually do, with my warmest of smiles. And standing there, looking a little worse for wear, is Tracy, with an E. I think of all the times he made fun of me for helping others, but he's a person who needs help, and I love helping people.
When the door opened, I saw Tracy without an E, and she welcomed me in. I couldn't help but think of all the times when I've made fun of her for wasting her time helping people who can't help themselves. Now I'm one of them. And then my boss walks into the shelter. Can my day get any worse? Turns out my boss resigned from his last job and he gave all of his stuff away, which means he's jobless now too. But he's got a badge on his shirt that says Homeless Shelter Manager. I don't think he recognised me because he kept calling me Bob. And I certainly don't know how he's gone from shutting down homeless shelters to helping them run. I wonder if it's got anything to do with that bright light, because he said he was blind but now he can see and that he wants to use his powers for good.
When I first saw Tracy with an E, all I saw was a poor chap who needed some food and some help. He'd lost his way somewhere, but we'd help him find it again.